Sweet on the outside, In-A is actually a master. In-A has just returned home after being released from prison. In-A only wants a peaceful life with her younger sister, Un-Hae. But when In-A discovers that her sister has been abused and videotaped by a group of thugs, the peace is immediately shattered. A bloody journey of revenge begins, and In-A will not stop until the last person pays the price. In-A is a special police officer. Today, In-A was released from prison early, just because, while on duty, In-A used a gun to shoot the perpetrator without permission from her superiors. In-A was not only fired, but she was also detained for more than a year. And today is also the day In-A is released from prison. But no one came to pick In-A up. In-A went to her old home address and was picked up by her innocent, mentally disabled younger sister. In-Hae is also In-A's only younger sister. When her sister returned, In-Hae was overjoyed. She loved her sister's return home, though two sisters clung to each other. In-A cooked black noodles for her sister. Un-Hae enjoyed eating them. When her sister bought her a hair clip, Un-Hae jumped up and down happily like a child. At night, Un-Hae hugged her sister to sleep and whispered to her. In-A said Un-Hae needed to go to bed early so she could go to school tomorrow, but Un-Hae kept shaking her head and said she didn't want to go to school. In-A thought Un-Hae was being spoiled. In-A turned to stroke Un-Hae's hair and said that Un-Hae only had half a month left until she graduated. In-A told Un-Hae to try hard, and soon Un-Hae wouldn't have to go to school anymore. Un-Hae innocently rested her head on her sister and fell asleep, but it turned out that Un-Hae had a reason for not wanting to go to school. At school, Un-Hae was often bullied by her classmates. Un-Hae was grabbed by the head and neck and dragged away. After waking up, In-A saw a pair of shoes and a red dress on the table. Un-Hae had bought it for In-A, and Un-Hae said that In-A would definitely look beautiful in it. After the kids took Un-Hae to the karaoke bar, they started to act up again. Then they would send the clip to customers. They colluded with another group of thugs to force Un-Hae to be bait, pretending to be abused. Un-Hae would signal to them. Then they would rush in and blackmail her. Just like that, they made a lot of profit from taking advantage of Un-Hae. But life is not like a dream. The previous times were easy, but this time they encountered a bully. Before they could do anything, he turned them around. He forced the three kids to sign a debt paper. Seeing that her sister still hadn't returned, In-A was worried. In-A waited downstairs for a long time but couldn't find her. In-A immediately ran to look for her, but the whole city was turned upside down. In-A still couldn't find her sister. Un-Hae was mentally handicapped, and if she hadn't come home by now, she was definitely in danger. The next morning, In-A wore the dress and red shoes her sister gave her and went to school. Looking into the classroom, In-A only saw Un-Hae's empty chair. One of Un-Hae's classmates had already hinted that something was wrong, because yesterday she had seen Un-Hae with the group of 3 boys. In-A went to the principal's office to ask the teacher, but In-A didn't receive an explanation. The teacher even criticized In-A for not knowing how to teach her sister. He told her to let Un-Hae go out and play until now, and she still hadn't come home. He also said that if Un-Hae had such a problem, she should stay home. In-A had no choice but to leave. Unexpectedly, Un-Hae's friend ran over and showed In-A a video. The person being abused and beaten in it was Un-Hae. Seeing these images, In-A was extremely heartbroken. In-A did not expect her poor sister to have to endure these things. Waiting until school was over, In-A followed the 3 kids to the bathroom. In the end, he was beaten to a pulp before he obediently sat down and told her everything. He gave In-A a business card. In-A called the phone number on the phone, but In-A was one step too late. The gangster was carrying out a human trafficking transaction with a man. The leader had sold Un-Hae to this old man. Un-Hae was also sitting there, cowering in fear. She was also beaten very hard by a short-haired woman. In-A had now made her way to the man's office, but In-A only met a fat junior. After being dealt with by In-A, he also revealed that the boss had a disguised massage center. In-A grabbed the car keys and immediately went to find her sister. The boss then played a trick again. He immediately called the gangster to return the person and demand the money. The gangster had already received the money and did not want to return it. He had no choice but to go there to see what was going on. In-A also followed. In-A called him on the number on the business card, but this guy was still talking nonsense. He said he was about to lose money. At this moment, In-A's anger increased even more. This guy was immediately shot. Then In-A sat in the back seat. She took the strap of the gangster's shirt and tied it around his neck, then forced him to drive to Eunhai's place. In-A locked him in the trunk of the car. She took the gangster's phone and called and found out that her sister was at the boss's place. In-A immediately went there. When she entered, In-A saw the short-haired woman wearing the hair clip that In-A had given to her sister. In-A acted so quickly that she had to take In-A to the boss. But the boss was still sitting there smoking very happily. As soon as he finished speaking, the short-haired woman was so scared that she mumbled that she gave Eunhai her phone to call home. But at that time, In-A was looking for Eunhai outside, so she didn't answer the phone. Only then did the boss raise his head. He said that at that time, a tall young man came and gave a large sum of money and took Eunhai away. He asked what else she was looking for here. In-A also knew that at that time, when Eunhai couldn't call home, Eunhai called another phone number. That was the number of the grocery store owner. In-A broke the boss's neck for talking too much. In-A had just killed a guy. On the way to the grocery store, the gangster in the trunk kept cursing and shouting loudly. It was too troublesome, so In-A had to get out of the car. In-A intended to let him go, but this guy stubbornly asked In-A to carry him down. After arriving at the grocery store, In-A asked if it was her sister who called. In-A wanted to know who answered the phone. Only an old man stepped out to threaten her. In-A asked for a while before the truth was revealed. Not only did he know her sister's whereabouts, he also knew a terrible thing. A few years ago, when In-A went shopping, this man got angry and raped her right there. When his wife heard this, she was stunned. She was angry and left.
내 동생 누가 데려갔어?
이거 좀 놓고.
Then she asked who else had molested her sister. He told her about the photographer and the car repairman. After molesting the girl, he proudly told the other two men about his exploits. This made those two men greedy. Hearing this, In-A both hated and loved her sister. In-A felt sorry for her because she didn't know about these things. After dealing with the old man, In-A continued to go to the photo studio and taught him what courtesy was. Seeing In-A, this guy was still boastful.
아니, 기념으로 한 장 찍을 거면 기억을 하지.
이제 기억나?
난 진짜 그거밖에 없었잖아. 아이고 정말.
In-A asked him a few questions, and that was it. In-A's next destination was the car garage. But unexpectedly, it was from here that the consequences were even more serious. He molested Eunhai right in the customer's car, and this car belonged to the congressman. When the congressman got in the car, he saw a pair of pink panties in the car. He asked the driver, but he didn't know. He went back to ask the car repair shop and found out that it belonged to Eunhai, a high school student. The congressman immediately contacted contacted the girl. Then, like clockwork, every time school was over, a car would come to pick her up and take her to a deserted area. Here, the congressman would commit his depraved acts. One time, In-ae followed him, and she discovered this shocking incident. In-ae immediately rushed in to confront the congressman. Because she had been drugged, Eun-hae kept laughing. The two sides struggled for a long time. Finally, In-ae blinded the congressman and rescued her sister and escaped from this place. That's why In-ae was imprisoned for more than a year. At this point, In-ae also understood the problem. Surely the congressman had kidnapped Eun-hae to take revenge for losing an eye that year. In-ae got out of the car step by step and went straight to the garage. In-ae also did not forget to grab a long-handled hammer. The other guy raised his head and saw a charming girl above his head. He was still happy, but the joy did not last long before sadness came. Not only that, In-ae also used her shoe heel to puncture his hand and forced him to tell the whole truth. Hearing about the congressman, In-ae's hatred reached its peak. In-ae was determined to find and avenge her sister. In-ae also did not forget to give the guy who was lying under the car a blow from the engine, so he left. After that, In-ae walked out of the garage in a daze. The way to find her sister was getting shorter and shorter. This made In-ae have to try harder so that Eun-hae would not be in danger. At this time, the congressman's driver, Jung-woo, had taken Eun-hae to a highway. Seeing the little girl sleeping, he got out of the car to buy her something to eat. But when he woke up and saw no one, Eun-hae hurriedly got out of the car and ran away. The car alarm was blaring loudly. When Jung-woo returned, he couldn't find the little girl anywhere. Eun-hae had escaped onto a bus. He immediately chased the bus and forced her to get off. This scene was heartbreaking. No matter how much the little girl struggled and cried, the only response was the indifferent looks of the people around her. The car just kept rolling. Jung-woo looked at the little girl crawling at his feet. The little girl begged to go home, but he couldn't bear it. But at this moment, the congressman called again. He said he would take the little girl to the abandoned house. Last time, because he let her go, he was beaten to death by him. He was also warned to his old mother at home, so he had no choice. Even though he loved little Eun-hae very much, he had to obey the congressman's orders. After dealing with all these people, In-ae immediately called Jung-woo. She asked where her sister was, but he was just a coward. Jung-woo told In-ae that the congressman was brainless and she couldn't fight him. Jung-woo hinted to In-ae that if she wanted to save her sister, she would have to deal with the trouble later. In-ae immediately turned to ask where Congressman Park was. Jung-woo again had the idea of borrowing In-ae's hand to get rid of the congressman. Jung-woo immediately told In-ae the location of the congressman. In-ae immediately drove straight to the congressman's place. As soon as she entered, In-ae saw him sleeping soundly. When he opened his eyes, he was surprised. In-ae used a gun to control him and asked where his sister was. The congressman immediately recognized the girl who blinded him that year. Congressman Park was still very arrogant. He used Eun-hae's life to threaten In-ae. Then, when In-ae was distracted, he threw the gun away. The two of them rushed into a fight. The noise quickly attracted Congressman Park's bodyguards. He took advantage of the protection of the bodyguards to leave the place. In-ae used her fastest speed to knock down all the bodyguards, but In-ae couldn't let him escape. In-ae got in the car and chased her on the boulevard. In-ae immediately drove after her. The two of them started a chase scene on the main road. This time, In-ae decided not to hold back anymore. In-ae directly pulled out her gun and shot Congressman Park, but In-ae only hit his arm. In-ae's car was hit quite a bit. The car got stuck in the grass on the side of the road and couldn't move. He escaped successfully, but he got angry and asked Jung-woo to immediately inject Eun-hae with a large dose of medicine. He wanted to take Eun-hae's life for revenge. He also ordered Jung-woo to gather everyone to deal with In-ae. Jung-woo told Congressman Choi to go to a nearby bus stop to wait. He would immediately send someone there to support him. He immediately told In-ae the location of the bus stop, but unexpectedly, Congressman Park immediately thought that Jung-woo had betrayed him. He immediately had someone set a trap at the bus stop. Sure enough, when In-ae chased after him, she didn't see anyone. Jung-woo was captured by him. Then Jung-woo was brutally dealt with. In-ae knew the location of the congressman. In-ae decided to go all in. In-ae wrapped bandages around her hand and wrapped an iron lighter in the bandage damages. In-A was determined to not return home. Just as he and the others were handling Jungwoo's body, In-A arrived. In-A drove straight towards them. A fierce battle immediately broke out. In-A began to fight with Congressman Park's underlings. Unfortunately, her gun was out of bullets. With only her bare hands, In-A had to face dozens of bodyguards holding batons alone. But illuminated by the female lead's halo, In-A was soon at a disadvantage and was knocked to the ground. Inside the room next to the congressman, Eun-hae was injected with a large amount of drug. Today, he wanted to witness the two sisters leave this place to settle the old grudge. Just as In-A was about to be sent off by a knife, she suddenly remembered her sister. Before In-A could fall, she risked her life to avoid a fatal blow and snatched the dagger. Then In-A used the dagger to deal with each of them one by one. With a quick strike, In-A quickly defeated the group of bodyguards. When In-A ran to the room to save her sister, she was ambushed by the congressman hiding behind the door. The dagger was taken away by the opponent. In-A was starting to lose strength, so she was stabbed, but In-A still relied on her last bit of strength to push him to the ground. Then In-A swung her fist, wrapped with an iron lighter. In-A resolutely hit this beastly man in the face. In-A poured all her anger and guilt towards her sister onto him. Only when he was knocked down, covered in blood and died, did she stop. At the end of the movie, In-A led her sister away from this place. In-A's wound on the car was still bleeding. In-A's sister was motionless beside her. When the car left the tunnel, a beam of white light appeared. The movie ended here. The movie used an open ending. It shows that the most evil and cruel species are not demons but humans. The film strongly criticizes school violence, abuse of people with disabilities, and above all, sexual abuse. Okay, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.